Yesterday, the Immigration Minister, Robert Jenrick, came under fire for saying excessive uncontrolled migration threatens to cannibalise the compassion that marks out the British people. He went on to say, and those crossing tend to have completely different lifestyles and values to those in the UK and tend to settle in already hyper-diverse areas, undermining the cultural cohesiveness that binds diverse groups together and makes our proud multi-ethnic democracy so successful. These remarks inevitably were attacked by the politically correct brigade as being straight from the far right's playbook. But it's a fair point for Mr. Jenrick to raise. Britain is a compassionate country, and we want to welcome people who will help the country. Allowing unchecked migration poses a risk to cohesion and also, of course, to democratic control. And that's what today in the House of Commons was about. As I said, I've literally just got here straight from the Commons, where we've been voting to put through the illegal migration bill, to try and stop the small boats coming, to ensure that the European Convention on Human Rights, as interpreted by the European Court, can't stop the democratic control that the British people want and need. We've got to move away from a system where anyone who gets here will be put up in an hotel across the country so that tourist resorts are being used not for people to go and have a nice time, but as holding places for people who have come here unlawfully, illegally. We need to make sure that the people who come to this country have a right to be here and that there is a deterrent to stop those coming illegally in small boats. And how are we going to do that? Because you will say the Conservatives have been in government for 13 years. Why hasn't it happened yet? And the truth is we've been bound in by the EU and then by the European Court. This piece of legislation finds a route through that and ought to make it possible to ensure that people are sent back to safe places, whether they be where they've come from immediately, such as France, or to places like Rwanda, where they will be able to apply for asylum.